Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Star Trek episode review. We are here tonight talking about the Lower Decks Season 5, Episode 8, Upper Decks. I am joined tonight by my Trekkies in Arms cousin Cheeto. How are you, sir?
Hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Special guest at this time of year, Santa Claus. Good to see you again. Missed you all year, Santa.
Oh, you've been a very good boy, mate. And I'm very happy to be back here, my friends.
And last but not least is Lord Donkey. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. I just hope Xanta comes and visits me for my birthday.
I'll come down your chimney poop just for you.
Oh.
So we're here tonight talking about a little bit of a different episode. Not focusing on our typical characters, our normal cast. Instead, we focus on the senior staff this week as our lower deckers carve jack-o'-lanterns. I want to start with some overall thoughts. Cheeto, what did you think of this episode of Lower Decks?
I mean, I thought it was good. It basically takes the Lower Decks episode from TNG and flips it on its head. So I mean, I know what they were going for with this. My only problem with this, and it didn't break the episode for me, but the only problem is we see all these upper deckers in like every other episode. So like the great thing about the Lower Decks episode is that we didn't see a lot of these characters a lot in the Lower Decks episode like of TNG. So it was good to get a whole episode with them. Whereas with the Upper Decks in this episode, we see them, we see these characters a lot. So, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, didn't break the episode for me, but I was, again, kind of just like, okay.
All right. Xanta, what were your overall impressions of this episode?
Do you remember when Zam was talking about that episode with the Klingon and he didn't like it? And then with the balls and the cubes and he didn't like that either? I agree with him. I didn't like those episodes too. But this is the worst, I'm afraid. And I'll get into that a little bit later.
Bold statement, but I can understand why. I think I will agree with some of your criticisms, probably. Lord Donkey.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one where I start here and then we go down a little bit as we talk about it. Because Cheeto, you're absolutely right. It was we do see these characters all the time. So why didn't they just work these stories into other episodes? Or so did it make sense to do it? No, but it was interesting to see that peek behind the curtain, but also, especially with the captain, we always see her. But the Shax part was cool. I didn't care for the ransom part. It ended well enough, but I didn't care for that part. And the doctor part was great. That might save it for me.
That was definitely like the funniest part of the episode.
Yeah,
that's one of
absolutely.
those things where I was just like, I'm like, this is stupid, but I love it.
Exactly. That's what Lower Decks is so good at.
Yeah.
It's I forget what I was about to say. What? We normally talk about the A and B plots here, but it feels like there were so many different side treks that this was very chaotic. It was fun, but it was very chaotic.
Agreed.
So
agreed on
thought,
chaotic.
I thought this was a mess. I thought the execution, and the melding of all these things. I thought, what the hell am I watching here? This is not funny. I'm not buying into this. This is really stupid. And these characters are very familiar to me. I have no problem with us focusing on them in the episode, but I don't think it was executed in a way that I found satisfying.
No, definitely could it felt chaotic, I would say, and just lots of issues to my mind. Got lots of comments tonight. Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, so Ginger Greek is talking about Babylon 5 for the win because he is a mark and a stand for a loser. No, I love Babylon 5 too. Don't get me wrong. But Leanne Locklear, don't know who that is. I agree with you on that one. LMFAO or LMAO. Sorry.
I know who she is.
Yes,
She's
I
a
know
good
who she
little
is.
girl.
It was an anxiety attack waiting to happen. Dana Van says Dr. Ta'an felt less pain than I did watching this episode for sure. Wow. Okay.
Ouch.
So
I said to myself, I'm like, oh man, Daniel Vance is gonna really hate this one. I said
I
it to
felt the
Leanne.
pain. I felt your pain, Daniel.
So as people can tell, we're kind of we're using a new setup called Restream. So we're just kind of playing with the settings here in the chat. So B5 and DS9 equal to this is true, but it's not D9, it's DS9. D9 is what they called me in college. So
I wonder why.
Say, I don't think there's a D9 in D&D, as we were talking about earlier.
So
No,
we'll figure it out. Maybe if we get a ton of comments and we're on a roll, maybe I'll bring up the overlay chat just so that we don't have to keep on like reading them out loud. You know what I mean?
You moved the hat, the logo too.
Yeah, I did. I moved the logo to the other side because it was in kind of out of the way.
You can hang out with my plushies.
Yeah, there you go.
Saucy.
Indeed.
Anyway, Mage, take us out. Take us out.
Take us out.
Take us in.
Take us in. Yeah, we haven't gotten started yet.
What kind of podcast is this now?
We started this episode with the a morning meeting and the briefing. We hear about Ensign Barnes getting devolving and evolving into a futuristic cave woman, and there's the mention of the Click It having activity in the sector, but then Shax leaves suddenly, starts having visions, dark visions, and then we get the reveal that the captain is looking forward to some free time at the end of her day. That was kind of the setup. Do we want to just like run through what we feel about each of these kind of like crazy threads, because they're like so disjointed and disoriented?
Well, if you don't mind me saying,
I forgot about Phillips.
I didn't even get to where it built. Yeah,
this is where you have multiple story threads in 25 minutes, and it doesn't work. Like instead of like having a plot or the subplot, and possibly a C, maybe even a minute D plot, we have like 5 or 6 things going on, and it's all bollocks.
I see. I would disagree. Like again, I agree with what Lord Donkey said. Was I think that's a lot. Some of these stories are really good and funny. Like I did like the Shax thing. I thought it was great exploring his, it's some of his trauma from the occupation and stuff like that. The Ta'ana stuff was stupid but funny. It was that stupid funny. The ransom stuff was like, well, he's just hanging out with lower deckers anyway from Beta and Delta shift. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that one was kind of lame.
Bollocks. Like, we're gonna get these flying armadillos coming in and fucking up the bloody
flying armadillos. Do you know what an armadillo looks like?
They're space cows.
I don't care. They turn into little balls, but they become invisible this time, and
little potato bugs
going around. They're smashing up the bloody cargo bay and stuff, and he's doing his stupid, psychological way of getting the team to work and
exercise.
it's so bollocks. It's like honestly, they did Ransom dirty in this episode, in my opinion. They really did.
That's
I
a
agree.
big
Yeah.
retcon.
Yeah,
the
that's
that
fair.
fact that it's a big act, all just a complete act. That's a pretty big retcon of a character trait that he's displayed for
These
5 seasons
aliens
now.
are these aliens are smashing up the cargo bay, and he's gonna take a nap. What the fuck is going on here, man? Like seriously. I know what he was trying to do when they did with the payoff, but still, it's fucking stupid. I don't know. I was really rolling my eyes up with this episode. I couldn't believe it. I was so upset.
See, it would matter if this was canon, but it's loose canon.
How loose?
It could be the fucking cannonball run, with Bertrand on the Dom DeLuise. I don't care. And it needs to entertain me for what it is. And I did not appreciate it. I know what they tried to do, but they didn't pull it off.
So I'd
Of the
actually say this
5,
episode was fairly entertaining. I would just say that I agree with you that it's very disjointed and very all over the place. And they did retcon, the ransom stuff. But if you take Lower Decks at face value, that's what you're going to get. And yes, they normally do a better job of portraying it, like the execution. But at the end of the day, Lower Decks is a nostalgia bait, show. So
I did mention V'ger.
it did mention V'ger. Well, it mentioned V'ger last week, or maybe 2 weeks.
It can be all of that, but and 9 times out of 10, this is very good. But my God, season 5 has had some serious duds. Like every other season prior to this one, I have enjoyed every episode because it's very witty, smart, using the lore in clever ways and making you laugh because you understand the Star Trek isms. This was fucking stupid. This really was. This was anything but that. This is, oh look, we're going to reference Vija. Oh look, de-evolution. Look, go fuck yourself. That's what I'm thinking. It's like bullshit. Go fuck yourself.
They're
You
throwing
stupid
all this
writers.
crap at the wall to see what can stick.
Yeah.
No wonder this was like when they made this episode, they thought, you know what, we need to end the season. I can totally understand now.
The one that
end the
I really
series.
feel like didn't stick, looking back on it right now, Billups, because the whole behind the walls here, everything that I rigged up to work in a crisis, and it all needs repaired because you found this one little light that was blinking. You don't think Rutherford would have found that by now? Like, I'm thinking back to the episode where Rutherford was trying to get his promotion and competing with that other ensign, and he would have found all this stuff that Billups had rigged together. So,
You talk about, but it's my God, it happened to do this. The Star Trek 2 Rafa Khan ending joke. Oh my God! It's like, come on, seriously? Like
That
this
didn't
is so
stick.
stupid. It did not work for me. Like you guys are really clutching for shit now. This is not good. This is not good. When you use the nostalgia, use it right. Just don't do references for the sake of a cheap joke. Be witty with it. Be smart with it. This was far from it.
So Rick B will be played by Santa Claus this season.
But Xanta's not hating on it for no good reason. He's got legitimate points.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
I know. Yeah, all he has to do is say, "Oh, it's Kurtzman. It sucks."
Yeah, then he's Rick B.
Yeah, then he's Rick B.
No, I felt like Billups was acting very out of character this episode. Like the danger junkie kind of take on him. That's not who he is. He's, very milquetoast.
Hey,
as
copyright
it were.
infringement.
But and so just I agree the Tana pain management kind of bit was probably the most entertaining aspect of this episode.
But if it happened in any other Star Trek, it would be abysmal. Like it would that. This is something that only Lower Decks could pull off. You know what I mean? And that's and as I said, it was very entertaining. But if you saw Beverly Crusher running around, she's like, I gotta redo the pain scale. Give me some pain, Picard.
To be fair, she had her incident with the ghost and asking if the universe was the problem. So Beverly did get up to some weird shit.
No, not for me. Like the moment we saw the Lower Deckers come back on screen, I thought, "Oh, good! It's so good to see you back." Don't give these motherfuckers a full episode ever again. That's what I heard.
No, it was good to see them back at the end for sure. Mariner not accepting that the senior staff or others at all are the leads in their own story, I thought was a funny joke. Mariner's like, "Don't shake my worldview."
Sorry for jumping all over the place, but
No.
with Freeman when she was dealing with those aliens, the clickers. Well, we've never seen them before, have we? Because she said they were familiar, but they weren't familiar to me.
No.
Was that part of the joke?
I think that's part of the joke.
Okay, fair enough. Because the thing about giving them compliments. Seriously?
Oh yeah, that was another thing that was really dumb. I'm like,
come on,
reminded me of the Gromplers, the Groplers, or whatever. Another weak episode.
Oh, don't. That one was fun though, when they kept multiplying. This one, that was the cheapest, easiest solution to we're being invaded. Oh, just compliment them and they'll go away.
Well, that's like that episode of Voyager. What was the one episode where like Janeway, what did she do? She did something and Neelix had to like work his like smooth things over doing something. Do you remember that episode? It like started in a shuttlecraft and Janeway had offended them by doing something and Neelix had to, they had to do this like you guys don't remember that?
I'm thinking more of the most recent Strange New Worlds episode, with that guy I thought was Armin Shimmerman, and the way Pike had to communicate with him. It wasn't Armin Shimmerman, it was somebody else actually, but he looked like him. And he had to communicate with him in a particular way in order for them to join their treaties or join Starfleet. I forgot how it proceeded, but it was a method, like he couldn't necessarily agree with them. He had to disagree with them, I think, in order to communicate with them, to get them on board. So it felt like that to a degree, but this particular execution was probably the worst I've ever seen.
Does anyone feel like this episode should have been a Halloween episode since they were like carving pumpkins in the beginning?
It's late by a month. Yes, I was going to go there. It's a Halloween episode that was late by a month. I mean, because we kind of have gross, kind of halfway horrific situations with the way the infiltrator, the one that was posing as the ecologist, came out of his disguise. The weird birthing incident that the captain had to go to.
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, there were some pretty grotesque moments.
I don't know if there was enough horrific moments for me to make this Halloween. I know they're covering the pumpkin, but like I said, that episode with the zombies a few weeks ago, Zam were talking about, that was an ideal Halloween episode. But there's such a small reference at the beginning of this one that I was thinking about it initially, but then it never played in my mind after that.
That's only because you got eggnog on the brain.
Oh, my beard, my friend, on the beard.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this facial hair.
Luscious.
It's luxurious.
Thank you very much, my friend. Yes, I agree with Leanne. It was, well, I wouldn't necessarily gross, but disturbing, yes. Disturbing because it didn't make me laugh. And I was disturbed by that. Give me all your loving, all your hugs and kisses too.
All right, so Xanta putting one of the Z's in ZZ Top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've talked about a lot of it already. It was so all over the place that we've talked about it all over the place. and I'm out of notes, honestly.
I mean, have you ever seen an episode where there's so much shit going on, but it like
None of
the
it's
only
of
connective,
consequence.
yeah, like the only connective tissue
Yeah.
was what happened to the doctor when it came to her, going ape shit and being able to take the kill ray from the gun and all of that. I mean, that was the only sort of thing that kind of led from one plot to another plot and all of that. But overall, it was just, oh god, like. Like, this is the mess of a story. It was, I didn't like it at all. Even though it ended quite sweetly with the husband coming in and all of that shit for Freeman.
That was cute.
Mm-hmm.
But that nice ending.
Honestly,
There's not. Yeah, sorry, I'm probably going to say
no,
something.
you're fine. Who's the guy that's basically Freeman's assistant?
Billups 2.0,
Stevens.
I guess.
That's Stevens.
Stevens.
Stevens. He was the most like he's what kept us sane through this whole episode because he had the schedule. What's coming next? This
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
on the schedule. Invasion. That's probably the best
Stevens
line.
is
Invasion's not on the schedule.
he's Ransom's fanboy.
ZZ Bottom.
Oh yes, I agree.
Hmm.
Because everybody likes a smart the rest Xantar.
I mean, who couldn't?
Mm-hmm. Look at this here. Look at this. Years of growth, my friends. Years.
Yeah, that's all I've got. Do you guys have anything else like sticking in your craw about the episode, or Cheeto, do you want to defend it since you seem to have enjoyed it more than
Well, as I said, I enjoyed parts of it. So, I mean, I think that's going to kind of reflect in my ranking of it. But I see the gripes. I didn't hate it as much as Xanta did, but I didn't love it either. So, yeah, I don't know if I want to defend it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't, I'll defend my rank, like my thoughts on it, but I don't really want to defend the episode because, yeah, it is definitely one of the weaker episodes this season for sure.
and I would say it's one of the weaker episodes, period. Like, it's up there in the annals of bad episodes.
Not worse than Peanut Hamper, though. Not worse than Peanut Hamper. I'm sorry. Peanut Hamper was horrible. Both episodes were horrible.
Peanut Hamper 1's not bad, but Peanut Hamper 2.0, the episode is just atrocious.
Yeah.
No. When you think of bad episodes of Star Trek, just generally, this will be in those annals, in my opinion. Because this is a terrible episode of Star Trek, whatever the show may be. This is bad.
Donkey, do you have any last thoughts before we go to Mark's then?
Ooh. Aside from some fun references, Boimler's beard.
He's got a full-on goatee now, though. Like he's got mutton
good.
chops, and he's got the beard or the goatee, and then he's got like the wispies in the middle.
Yeah,
it's almost there.
It's almost. This episode, I forget. One of you was saying how it didn't make sense that this wasn't the Halloween episode. Was no reason this couldn't have been, since it had nothing. I mean, not that there's been an overarching story this whole season. There was no mention of that, so there's no reason this shouldn't have just been at the beginning of the season, or these whole storylines could have been worked into other episodes. I feel like
that would have been a better way. Would have been a better way of using the ideas.
This was a Halloween episode because it was horrible and it was a horror to watch just for what it was. That's why it's a Halloween episode. My God, I'm scarred from this bullshit. I wasted 25 minutes of my life having to watch this.
So dramatic.
But the only silver lining was that it ended up me being on this lovely show with you guys, my friends. Oh, look at this little birdie. Look at this. You want to
Daniel
go in
Vance
the beard?
says the best
Go in the
episode of
beard.
the episode,
Okay.
in my opinion, goes to Lynn at the very end with her joke about Mariner's mom.
Agreed.
I don't know. Leanne's comment from earlier does not show up, but it shows up in the overlay. It's so weird. Like, sorry, I'm just playing everybody, by the way, since we've got some time here. Like, you see that this whole episode was seriously gross and disturbing. It's like, it's not over here on the side in the thing, but it's in the overlay. It's so weird. Anyway. All right, I'm starting the poll.
Starting the poll. Excellent. I'm gonna go over my notes.
There's not much more to say. I don't think it's.
I mean, we've got cloaking. We've got cloaking.
Cloaking bagoons.
Yeah,
those were kind of neat.
Roly polies. So
more beef between the ships. They referenced that.
Yeah.
They haven't referenced that in forever. But
shift.
The bagoons, just there was so much going on that none of it ever got time to get fleshed out or developed.
Yeah.
Really. So that's another thing kind of detracting from the episode, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I can start while we let the poll go and give it a 4.
Ooh.
I just wasn't impressed this week. Disjointed plots that, as Lord Donkey has pointed out quite eloquently, that could have been better used in different episodes as either independent gags or one of the side plots. Not going to. Well, I'm not going to guess at other people's rankings, but I don't think I hate it as much as some of us, but not my favorite episode of Lower Decks by any stretch of the imagination. Cheeto?
I'm going to give it a 5. That's what I came in going to give it, and that's what I because I think I gave one other episode this season a 5. I don't remember which one, but yeah, it's kind of tied for like worst of this season. I don't think it's like the worst ever, but definitely is not up to Lower Deck standards. So I think a 5 is a really good place for it. As I said, individually, I liked a lot of the plot threads going on, but I agree that it was all disjointed and the overarching. I like the end, the bit at the end with Admiral Freeman and the Captain Freeman, and that was sweet. I thought that was really nice. But yeah, there was just definitely some misses in this episode that we really can't excuse. So yeah, 5.
Santa Claus.
Well, I'm pondering here, which is why I'm stroking my magnificent beard. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what does an episode like this deserve from me disliking it so much? Like this is not the first episode this season that I've disliked. But my God, if to trilogize these 3 episodes of the ones I disliked, I would say that this is the worst of the 3. So I think now I, without doubt, have to give this a very low rating. It gets a 1. It gets a 1 from me. I really, really dislike this episode. I'm very happy in a way that with the previous episodes, I've given them low marks, but never the 1. This one definitely deserves it.
So wait, you gave the musical episode a higher ranking than this episode?
Yes.
Okay.
Musical episode was amazing.
This
it had its issues.
This episode was a mess. It was not clever as they like to think it was. The payoffs were not that great. It was stupid at times, and I didn't appreciate what they were offering. It wasn't that funny. And some of the characters that we are familiar with, like Ransom, were shown in a way that I'm not familiar with how they are, because this is not the Ransom I think he is. This Ransom is a lot better than this, and it just sometimes some of the things that they were doing just made no sense, and it just felt such a mess. No cohesion or anything like that. I have no problems going with the upper deckers because we are familiar with them, but they did them dirty. They really did these supporting characters very dirty, and for that it gets a 1. How dare you do that to these guys? We love these guys, and you do this to them? You Ben George, Mother George, Haram Sade? 1.
Wow, Santa has spoken and boldly.
Wow.
Lord Donkey, hard act
I
to
give
follow.
it no. This had some good laughs, but it was so disjointed and all over the place. I think I've been talked down to a 5 because this had potential in it with like the shacks and the doctor story to go places, but the rest of it just didn't work well together. So
Talk down to a
it's the
5.
lowest rating I've given any Star Trek since I've reviewed with you guys.
I'm gonna start killing ghosts now. Like, how stupid is that? For fuck's sake! My God, I just wanted to smack my head against the table.
All right. Well, the poll is definitely agreeing with Zam and Mage. So 80% of the people said that a 1 through 4, and then 20% says 5 through 7. So, yeah. So I guess I mean, definite issues. So
these people in our hall, they are good little boys and girls, and if they have given this a lower rating, then I promise you, I will come over to your place, open up my big fat sack, and give you all the offerings and goodies that come out of it.
I figured I would, expand that for Xanta's big announcement.
For effect. No, that was great.
I just like playing with all the buttons.
You got so many new tools at your disposal.
Maybe not new, but definitely new buttons that I get to.
We're very, very lucky there's no button that says self-destruct, because he would press that too.
I would.
But is there a muffin button?
I need the muffin button.
There needs to be a Moopsie button.
That too. But no, this has been our review of Lower Decks, Season 5, Episode 8. I want to thank everybody who's joined us in chat, everybody who's lurking, everybody who comes by on the VOD. There's more than just Star Trek content here on NerdTube, so reasons to subscribe. Me and Cheeto will be doing Dragon Ball Daima here this weekend. Yet again, looking forward to that. And there's going to be a very special premiere event for Constar, the motion picture, at 9 p.m. Central Time or 8 p.m. Central Time.
It's 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time. On Sunday.
I apologize. I misread, but yes, definitely on Sunday evening. So plenty of reasons to subscribe to NerdTube. I want to thank my co-hosts, Cheeto, Santa Claus, Lord Donkey. Thank you so much for being here, gentlemen. You've been watching NerdTube, the greatest social media channel that you maybe kind of heard of. Live long and prosper.
Merry Christmas, my friend.